Well, hello, friends. Welcome back to Ray's Create Cards. I'm Ray Henderson, a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Sorry, got a frog in my throat in Morristown, Tennessee. Of course, as soon as I start filming. That's how it goes. Anyway, today's card is going to feature a really cute layout that you can do so much with. I have so many different ideas, and I wish I had had time to do a lot of card samples for you using this set. This is called the Cheerful Daisies. It is in the current annual catalog on page 111. You can see there's a suite that you can buy that also has the bling and the designer series paper that coordinates with the release of Cheerful Daisies, okay? And so here's the bling. You can tell I haven't really used hardly any of it. It is called Adhesive Back Solid Gems. They're not carrying over, even though they were brand new when our annual catalog launched last year. They will not carry over. The last chance sale starts on April the 9th. So if they're still around by then, go ahead and definitely pick those up, because you've got Lemon Lolly, Boho Blue, and Copper Clay. And these are colors that we are going to be keeping. So definitely check that out. I don't have my last chance list here. Some of the things that were so-called last chance, like a lot of the items in the mini catalog that is fixing to retire at the end of April, are going to carry over to the online exclusives. So, yeah, there may or may not be a discount on certain products. So, all right, we're also going to use the Fern 3D embossing folder. We're going to be using the Cheerful Daisies bundle. I'm using the stamps and the dies. And again, I'm bringing in the Charming Sentiments. This is going to be retiring. I don't think it is carrying over to the online exclusives. I didn't see that it was. And of course, the Sentiment Silhouette dies that coordinates with the Charming Sentiments. So let me put this aside. Our color palette, ink-wise, is going to be Pretty Peacock and Copper Clay. Except, I think I'm going to change things up, and I don't think I'm actually going to use the Copper Clay like I did on my first card. I don't think I am, so let's just go ahead and say Pretty Peacock, and then Copper Clay and White are also supporting colors in this. You are going to want a regular card base that is 4 1/4 by 11. You're going to score it at 5 1/2, nothing unusual there. On the inside of your card, you want a mat that is 3 3/4 by 5. A piece of basic white that is 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. Okay. In fact, we can just go ahead and get that put together. And I want to use from that Charming Sentiments. Let's see, I've got them pre-mounted here. Because You Totally Deserve It, I want to stamp that in Pretty Peacock. And I do have everything written down here if you want to take a screenshot. I may have to move this here in a few minutes, but it's written down there if you want to make some notes while we're doing this. And I'm just going to ink this up in that Pretty Peacock, stamp this on the top. And guys, I don't know, I can just hit it so much better if I tilt my cardstock. Every time I try to line it up straight, I do it crooked. But when I tilt it, I pretty much nail it every time. Okay, Because You Totally Deserve It. Going to glue that to our Pretty Peacock mat. Get that glued down, and we'll kind of be done with the inside of the card. Although, oh pooh, there was something I wanted to do. Am I going to fix this? I don't have, yes I do. I'm just going to bring in a piece of window sheet and lay that on there, because there was one thing I did want to add, and I wanted to, let me see if I got a piece of scratch paper here. Ooh, well, I do, but I've got some personal info on that, so I'm going to bend it back, and I'm going to stamp it off one time, Let's try that again. Stamp it off one time. Come down here and get the most of it. Stamp that off again. And just kind of bring a little piece in right there on the top. I like it. Well, I'll have to really clean that later. I'll take that to the sink and use some soapy water on it. Now let's go ahead and let me put a little bit more glue on here, because I know a lot of it stayed stuck to that window sheet. So I hope everybody is doing really well. I'm still waiting for my catalog from Stampin' Up. It still hasn't come. You know, you can't, our mail system is just not like it used to be. And they're trying. I know they're trying, but still kind of disappointing, because I have a card class tomorrow. And I was really hoping it would be here by then. All right. I'm going to lay this on the inside. But, you know, sometimes we really need that easy button. And we need layouts that are easy, flexible, adaptable to any kind of card. And this one fits the bill. And I don't even remember. Oh, I went through my stash the other day and found that layout I had done on a card some time back. I don't remember what stamp set I used, what dies I used, what the DSP was called, or anything. And I thought, well, it's still a cute layout. Now, you're going to have a piece of designer series paper, embossed colored cardstock, however you want to do yours. And it's going to be 4 by 5 1/4. And what I want to do first is I have 3 strips of Pretty Peacock, and these are 1/2 inch, no, I'm sorry, 1 inch by 3 1/2. Now, what I found works is to come in from the top about 1 1.5 inches. You know, you can give or take just a little bit of room there. And I'm just going to go ahead and glue them on before I glue my designer series paper down. And I recommend you do that because sometimes their strips may be a little longer than the 3 1/2. And if you have any extra hanging off, it is easier if you take your snips then and cut that. Am I straight there? I think so. And we'll get these down real quick. Which side is which? Okay, I want the glue on the back side. You know how when you die cut, it puts that little curve to it. And then, I don't know, about 1/4 inch in between. I mean, this is such a flexible design. If yours are spaced a little closer together, maybe a little bit further apart, it's not going to matter. It really is not. So about 1/4 inch. And am I straight on all of them? They look pretty good. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and glue that to the top of my card. I could see bringing in some metallic cardstock on a design. I had so many ideas going with this layout. So, and I hope you do too. I hope you will take this layout and use it to your benefit. All right, you're also going to want a mat. Now, this is if you're using what I'm using. You're going to want a mat of cardstock that is 2 5/8 by 4 1/8. And mine is copper clay. Need a sympathy card. Be a great layout for that. Now, I am bringing mine down a little bit from the top. That's not even, I don't know, I would say that's about 3/4 inch maybe. And I've got actually more hanging off down here. And then I took a piece of basic white, 2.5 by 4, and I ran it through the Fern 3D embossing folder. I'm going to get that laid on there, and I'll have to use a little bit more glue on this one because of all that wonderful texture. It's so pretty. I thought about using the Pretty Posies 3D embossing folder. That would work really well on this particular card. All right, now I stamped in this stamp set. If you don't have it, you have got an outline and you have a fill. It's 2-step stamping. So for the outline, I did the straight Pretty Peacock, but for the fill, I did stamp it off one time, and then I die cut that out with the outline die. There is another die. Let me open this up here. There is another die that will also do some cutting in the middle of the flower. If you use that one, then you get these two pieces that look like this. And it just, you can slide that back in there. You could do more than one layer, glue them together, kind of pop it up and give it some dimension. It's a very flexible set. Truly, it is. So I've got this, and I thought I was going to go and use copper clay for the big middle of the flower, and then use Lemon Lolly and take that little stamp for the middle of the flower and do that in wild wheat. Y'all know I'm not a lover of wild wheat. And there's really not just a whole lot of it showing with this particular layout. So I'm just going to take and see where I stamped on the back side with that. So I'm going to lay that right there. Let that kind of have a second. I'm going to take that smaller inner piece, which is probably meant for the smaller flower, but I wanted to kind of give mine a little bit more dimension, and put that on there. Here is my stem that I stamped in straight Pretty Peacock, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue here, and I want my flower kind of angled. You may not want yours angled. I kind of wanted mine angled. I'm going to hold that there for just a second. Kind of make sure that's going to hold on. And then I can put glue down the rest of my stem and angle this over about like so. And I wanted to fit 3 leaves, but I just couldn't. So I stamped off the leaves one time with that Pretty Peacock, just so I'd have a little bit of contrast where the stem was full, straight on, first generation stamping. And of course, it's a little bit lighter even than the flower petals. But you can take a lot of license with this particular set. There we go. We've got that. Guys, we're just rolling right along here. Now, for the minute, let me cap my glue bottle. And we're going to get ready and die cut the sentiment. Stamp it and die cut it. So, I've just got a couple of white scraps here. Now, when you get ready to do your card, you do it any way you want to. But I'm going to take, and in the Pretty Peacock, I'm going to stamp the sentiment from the Charming Sentiments, wishing you the happiest of birthdays. I'm behind on my birthday cards, guys. I don't know if y'all are or not. I am so behind. All right. Should be good. Okay. But I have 2 pieces out here, and I'm thinking that one's, ooh, I don't know if that's long enough or not. We all have white scraps galore, right? So, wishing you the happiest of birthdays. And then, because you totally deserve it, is right there. And I love this bundle. This is another one I don't think is going to leave my inventory. Because look at all these dies. You have a die cut for each and every sentiment. You have hearts. You have stars. You have butterflies. I mean, it's so stinking cute. All right, I'm going to get my die here. We're going to line this up, tape it down, because if that shifts, I've ruined it and I'll have to start all over. I am using Post-it note tape that has already been used a few times, just a few. And I'm going to bring up my Boho Blue Mini-Me that is in the online exclusives as well. I'm going to cut this out. So I did order a diffuser for my light. It's not supposed to arrive until next Tuesday, so we'll see how that goes. Isn't that adorable? And I love how very close that cuts. Love it. Now, what I want to do, if I've got room, oh, I do. Boy, I just do. I just do. I want to cut another layer to glue behind my sentiment. So let's get him set up. If you're new to my channel, if you've never been here before, welcome. You're seeing that I use the light gray plate instead of the white platform for the mini. I do that on my white one and my Boho Blue one. It die cuts just fine, but I don't have to stagger my plates. Do you see how well used my plates are? And do you see how they're not warped? And I don't flip them back and forth. I don't do any of that. And I have just been such a happy camper since I figured that out. Am I going to die cut this? I am. But let me get my bottom plate in there. One of these days, that bottom plate will have to be replaced. And that's when I'll take what I'm using for my top one, put it on the bottom, and then only have one new one for the top. And that way there, I'm not going through a whole set of plates at one time. Kind of extending their life cycle there, and cuts down on how much you have to spend. Now let me get my tape off of here. I don't know if there's enough sticky left on there for another use or not. And let me get my die put right back in here. So yours truly woke up yesterday morning a little bit uncomfortable. Just, and that's an understatement, guys. I can't remember the last time I had a bladder infection. And I woke up like I had no warning whatsoever. And it's like, yee. So, but all is well. I'm on antibiotic and all that good stuff. I keep waiting to either lose my sense of taste or get a funky taste in my mouth. But I don't tend to do that when I'm on antibiotics. But then I'm not on antibiotics very much, thank you, God. All right, so you see how that just gives that a little extra something, a little bit more heft. And then right down here, I am going to attach this with, let me close up my little glue bottle. Dimensionals. And I've got my mini dimensionals here. And I just want to pop this up a little bit. I'm going to put that on there. My camera is not, well, poo. Get off of me and get on here. Get off of me and get on here. There we go. Is not where it's normally at, so I need to pay more attention as to whether or not I am in camera. Now, is that going to fit right there without being seen? Yes, it will. Now, take these off. And I hate for these little backings to go on to this silicone mat because it is so very hard to get them picked up. So I'm going to try to flick these over to the side where I can scoop them up later and put them in the trash. Okay, now on this, again, you've got flexibility. You could absolutely put it right up here and right across. You could also come down here like so and kind of bring it out more to this side since the flower is kind of going to that side. You know, you can just do you. And I think I'm just gently laying that down so I can pick it up. See if that is straight. And I think it is. And now I'm going to press that down. And one more thing, I did want to get some Wink of Stella. I know that they are out of stock at Stampin' Up. The Wink of Stella is and has been. The demand for the Wink of Stella has been so very high that the manufacturer is having such a hard time keeping up. And so the people who make the Wink of Stella, they're trying really hard. I got to look here and see. One of my Wink of Stellas I refilled. And I wasn't really seeing any bling there. But it is a super inexpensive, fun way to add a little bit of glitter. However, if you don't have Wink of Stella and you don't want to keep waiting for the Wink of Stella, by all means, it may be in stock somewhere else. And there are other companies that put out glitter pens and things that do the same thing. So no worries if you're anxiously awaiting for them to come back in stock. You can get it elsewhere. All right, guys, what do you think? Isn't that cute? Now, depending on the colors you use and depending on the DSP that you use, as to what overall look and tone that you will get, again, you could easily make that into a really sweet sympathy card, thinking of you, get well, doesn't matter. You could even adapt this for a mail card. All right, guys, the sale will be going on before we meet again. I have a card class tomorrow and 2 more next week. So I've been just a little bit busy behind the scenes. But one more time, here are those dimensions. But y'all be safe. Y'all be blessed. God is good all the time. Bye.